I think generally when you don't believe in yourself, it's because you're afraid of making mistakes. So you have to start with, in order to succeed, you're going to make mistakes. In order to take flight, there is a drag. So you've got to get that drag in order to take flight.
I am Lisa Walker Brown. We are with Everick Brown Design, and we are out of New York.
And my name is Everick Brown, and I'm from Everick Brown Design, and I'm based in New York. I started over 20 years ago. I had 2 stores. I had one furniture store in Mount Kisco, New York, and another one in South Norwalk, Connecticut. When I closed the stores, one was because of the housing market crash, the other was because of the market crash. What I was left with was my interior design business. And as I was out there struggling, in walks
me,
hero.
To save the day. And then we basically took our client base that we'd grown from people shopping in our store and him going out and taking, $10,000 worth of accessories and accessorizing their home. And people were like, hey, well, if you can do that, can you do this? And then we started, it's all word of mouth. I really started helping him with more administrative and operational, and he's the designer. I'm just his boss.
And she's trying to fire me.
I'm trying to fire me, actually.
But I'm too good to be fired. She's too good to let go.
There you go.
So I think the great thing about our business is we're a husband and wife team. And so that means you get 4 eyes versus 2, but you get a lot of divergent perspective. You get a female perspective versus a masculine perspective. You get a much more logistical or rational perspective versus irrational design or creative perspective, right? So to have 2 people work on one project, I think is very beneficial.
And we attract a lot of couples, and so I think that they like working with a husband and wife team, whether they're husband and husband, wife and wife, or husband and wife. They just like the whole couple dynamic, and we play off each other that way. And we actually get a great opportunity to say, you know what, I think I heard her say this, or I think I heard him say that, because sometimes, as we know in any couple, you're not always gonna hear what the person says. So, I think that really helps. And, we get to constantly bother each other in the middle of the night about projects and, work through 24/7 and, keep everybody happy. But the inspiration comes from the client feedback. I think that Everick does such a beautiful job designing a home and making clients happy that we're inspired to deal with the day-to-day stress and struggles of inventory and shipping and resourcing.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought I was ready, but I had this interview that she set up with Robert Ruffino, and I didn't know. And I was in the middle of working on a project, and she's like, you're meeting with Robert Ruffino, and he's going to review
a portfolio review.
Yeah, it was a portfolio review, and I was like, oh no, I'm not ready for this. He's gonna eat me alive. And so there I was queuing everything up, not really wanting to do this, and I start my presentation, and I'm about 2 pictures in, and Robert says, wait, go back. That's it. Where have you been?
He said, where have you been?
Whoa.
He said, I have chills. He said, I am sweating. He was just like undone. And we were in tears. And that was
and
when
it
it's
was,
like,
and that's
okay.
what when I remarked on believing in me, a part of my process is minimal, but it's also I design into what I call a void, which is very different than everybody else. And so sometimes when you're out and you're doing things that are different, you believe that you're not doing them right. So when we photographed the picture that Robert really liked, it was a picture where it was about simplicity. So it wasn't over-decorated. It was really about context, color, and texture without overdoing it.
And 7 pages in-house beautiful later.
If somebody had asked me what was the one thing I would tell a young person coming into the business or the world of interior design, I had been in business for over 25 years in total, and I had done corporate business. And I did interior design about 15 years before I reminded myself I was an entrepreneur first. And I think it's really important that young designers understand this is a business and you are an entrepreneur.
I believe that there is a misperception in this industry about what people are looking for when they are looking for a designer. They're looking for someone who's going to create a home and elevate their vision and bring them a home that gives them comfort and love, and they, can walk in and just feel like they're getting a hug. That's what we try to deliver. So you can't strive for, I've got to be doing this amazing, beautiful, bling, bling, crazy thing. You just have to deliver a home by listening to your clients. And you can't be insecure about that. You have to develop a relationship and you have to get to know them. And then once you do that, it'll unveil and you will deliver something beautiful. But that insecurity and that thinking you don't belong, that's going to get in your way in not just in, doing design work. That will get in your way in everything.
Doing business.
And doing
right.
business.
It's self-inflicted. Yeah, and I think a part of that is not only knowing your client, it's knowing the business, it's knowing the industry and knowing your process.
Yeah.
Like, not all my clients love my process, but they love the end result. And so when I come to a client and I say, we're gonna do this color, we're gonna do this textile, we're gonna lay the room out like this, then I have to know that that's what we're gonna do. Now I'm flexible and I wanna listen to the client, and in the end, the client is my boss, they will win, but I always say, you must know you're making a mistake.
Until 2020, he was just a designer. In 2020, he got labeled a Black designer, and so you are a designer, that's it. And don't call me looking for my Black perspective, call me looking for my design perspective. And then...
And that came from the industry.
That came from the
So
industry.
a lot of trade publications would come and go, so you're a Black designer. Tell us about it. What exactly does that mean? So, if you ask me what my style is modern classic with a global perspective. I can tell you a whole bunch of things. I am definitely inspired by African artifacts and Asian artifacts. I am Black, and so therefore everything I do is Black. But does that make me a Black designer? Yes, but I am also a designer. And so I've really challenged the industry to come to me for my talents and not just my perspective on Black design, which I'm not sure I'm an expert in.
You're not an expert.